Scots with soul. We'll build this network.
Scots and soul.
Build this network on Scots with soul. Yo, folks, what's happening? And welcome back to the IndiScots Scots with Soul podcast. I'm Cody, my dog, and I'm here with Thunder. He's giving me a paw because he's all excited. Whenever I start talking to the microphone, he gets so excited. But yeah, I'm Cody, my dog, and we're here with AbsoluteScottish this week. How you doing, Absolute
No bad, yourself?
Doing good, man. I've got a dog biting my horn and I'm trying to do intros. I'll get through it though. I'll get through it. We have GLP Matty returning. How are you doing, Matty? Good to have you back, dude.
Good stuff. How are you?
Doing good, man. This dog needs to calm down and I need to do the last intro. So SMviper or Viper, Premier Media, what is it? What are we calling you? Welcome.
Just Viper.
Just Viper.
Just Viper.
Somebody tried to badmouth SMviper last night and me and Vanessa both said at the same time, who's SMviper?
Who tried to badmouth him? I don't know who the fuck he is, but who tried to badmouth him?
I can't mind who it was, but it was just somebody in the chat. It was for a jest anyway. It was a jest.
I'm not twirling the shuriken for any, specific reason. Like, I'm just twirling it,
It makes him feel like a man when he twirls the shuriken. That's what it is.
Give them the back teats. Give back teats now.
But what do you want to talk about first? Do you want to talk about the loot boxes, the RAM, China, Witcher, the stoned dogs, or Blade, or Overwatch? What do you want to talk about first?
Let's talk about this. Yeah.
Stone dogs.
Stone dogs? We're going straight into stone dogs. Right,
Yeah.
okay, man.
Let's go for the stone dogs.
That's
Who doesn't
like
love a
3
bit
weeks in a row we've opted for controversy at the start of the podcast, but we'll go for it again, right? Type in hi dogs, get the fucking all that's interesting link, and here we go, we're diving straight in, right? So Aspen dogs are getting stoned AF from eating human feces laced with TSC. See what I mean? They think they're eating shite, right? Dr. Scott Dolganow says he sees between 3 and 10 high dogs come in per week. However, this isn't from the dogs getting into a stash at home, but rather indulging in a trailside snack, right? And here's where the plot thickens, right? Is there hundreds of stoned cunts cutting about in Aspen, going out in the woods and taking shite next to the trails?
That's what I was thinking. I was like, hold on, who the fuck's taking a shit next to the trail? Not for that. There's enough people taking that many shites that there's about, 8 to 10 dogs a week are coming into events.
Yes. Yes. Like, the plot thickens as well as the shit thickens, do you know what I mean? But here we go, right? With the legalisation of marijuana steadily sweeping the United States, mistakes at home are bound to happen. A toddler or a pet might grab a colourful edible mistakenly left on the living room table, utterly unprepared for the effects. In the case of Aspen, Colorado dogs, however, snatching edibles off their counter has been replaced with eating human faeces laced with marijuana. You read correctly. According to the Aspen Times, dogs in Aspen's Roaring Fork Valley finding a weed-laced stools out in hiking trails or in camping sites and are imbibing. Like, what? Weirder still.
I don't think they've got a drug problem. It sounds like they've got a sewage problem.
I know, it's like the public
I'm sorry.
toilets is just a trail. Like, what's going on? What you saying, Scottish? Sorry.
Nah, I'm saying this is funny. It shouldn't be funny, but it is funny.
How can I get it?
Weirder still. This isn't
so, like,
even an anomaly. Veterinarian Dr. Scott Dollinglaw said that he sees between 3 and 10 dogs experiencing marijuana toxicity per week. While the theory is that these dogs eat human feces containing so much THC that the psychoactive ingredient is effective a second time around, questions remain. 70 to 80% of people say they have no idea where the dogs got it. But they say that they were out on a trail or camping, said Dollinglaw. I can't believe that the owners are lying. And there's the video with some dogs in Aspen.
Right, so if I'm right, THC gets absorbed through the bloodstream, right?
Yeah.
So is there any way for THC to get in your poo?
I like it's.
Or anything to be in that high enough dosage that it could get dogs high.
That's what I mean. Like, the plot just thickens. Like, where
So
do
it
they?
must be edibles. Like, they must be eating it.
They must be eating edibles. Their owners must be feeding them edibles, and then the dogs. It looks that it must it obviously seems to be harming the dogs in the owner's eyes, and they're taking them to the vets, and then they're saying, "Oh, it must have ate some shite up the park." Do you know what I mean? Like,
Unless like, they might like, there is a chance, you know, they might have like tested one because they can tell what somebody's been eating through their own shit. So you can actually tell if someone's been eating shit via their shit. And
Kim,
I'm sorry, right? But even then, like, what is causing people in Aspen, Colorado to go, mate, I'm so fucking stoned. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take a shit in the woods. Like,
If they're camping, I suppose that would explain it. But it would have to be edibles, because if you're smoking it, then the THC isn't going to be in your shit, is it? So they have to be eating edibles and then going
Right.
camping in the woods.
can someone in the chat, like, if anyone in the chat knows anything about drugs, do yourself a favour. Go eat some edibles. And just let us know if it makes you want to shit in the woods. That's all we want to know.
I mean,
okay?
it's
We know what
no
you-
secret that I smoke, right? It's no secret that I'm a weed smoker, right? There's no secret.
But
there,
you've
right?
got a toilet to shit in.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Should I go take a shit up the woods and like fucking camp out next to it with a pair of binoculars and wait till a dog eats it and then like
I think you should. I think you should.
follow
Nah,
the dog
just-
and that? And...
let Thunder eat it, and then we'll see what happens.
Don't let
Matty,
my
I've
dog
got-
eat it, you mental?
Matt, I've got your next video.
What's
Mate,
up with
this is
that?
your next video.
What? I took edibles and took a shit. That is a title, by the way. That's a thumbnail. That is a thumbnail as well. Yeah.
I've got the tent. Me and you'll go camping, right? And I'll just film you on edibles, watch it, like film you take a shite, and me and you'll sit there, wait for a dog to come, eat the shite, and we'll follow the dog. Like, it won't look like we're creepy as fuck, but like, this sounds like a fucking Vice documentary already. Like, here we go.
This-
I'm
Like,
demolished.
Yeah. It sounds like it's going to be like a 2-hour documentary, just sitting there watching somebody eat some edibles, and then
That is something that Hamilton Morris from Vice would do as well. Like he's done
Oh
shit.
yeah.
Aye.
No problem. Jesus.
It's like, I took a shit in the woods and we'll let a dog eat it. Let's see what happens.
Well, I'll read a wee bit more of the article to see if we become more enlightened, right? Well, Dolga now seems ready to accept the idea that the dogs are finding finding and ingesting these weed-laced piles in the wild. One has to wonder, just common, if it's marijuana users to defecate in the woods, and subsequently how likely it is for dogs to eat it. Do you know what I mean? So the people writing the article are having the same questions we are. The more national explanation, of course, would be in a state where marijuana is legal, owners are likely to leave edibles out in the open by mistake and are too nervous to admit to a doctor that they put their pets in potential danger. That seems more likely to me. On the other hand, some of these piles in the wild accounts do seem entirely genuine. Rebecca Cole's 2-year-old cattle dog mix, Marty, for instance, stated acting strangely while being walked on the No Problem Joe Trail last spring. He was staggering, vomiting, peeing at random intervals, generally not his normal self. He was crashed out. I had to carry him to the vet. Cole recalled, I literally walked in the door and they said he was high. I couldn't believe it because I don't have anything in my house.
Sure,
So-
you don't.
I know,
Rebecca
I
Cole.
know. She did remember that Marty had an unidentified chunk in his mouth while walking in the trail. This just confirmed it even further for the vet. Most dogs will eat human feces given the opportunity, said the doctor. And there's a dog winking like that. Hey, I'll eat your shite. Hey.
well, I mean,
It's confirmed. IndiScots podcast confirmed. Dogs eat ass.
Dogs
Well, the
eat
thing
shit.
IndiScots podcast confirmed.
It
Yeah,
must be.
Oh, sorry.
I believe the stories on the sheer basis of how many there are. Like if it was
Yeah.
one or two guys every now and then, like, oh, looks like it's shit. Like I
did-
doubt it.
I did do a quick Wikipedia search on the town of Aspen, right? Aspen only has 6,000 people in it, right? It's a very small town, right? So
Wait,
this
so how many
could
people have
be
dogs?
this could be one of those things that just gets about on like a local Facebook page or something. Do you know what I mean? Like it could spread really quickly to the town. By the way, if your dog eats an edible, just tell the vets that they ate some shite up the trail. They'll totally believe in it. Do you know what I mean? Like they're eating it right up per se. Do you know what I mean? But I did do a quick search on Aspen. There's only
Everybody go shit in the
6,600
woods, we
people in
can't
Aspen.
Stop us all.
Aye, pretty much. Do you know what I mean? If enough of us say it, it will then become true.
I'm
So-
just. Can we check in California? Like, because California also has like legal weed, don't they?
But there's no story. I checked for other stories about dog eating feces. It was just in Aspen, this tiny wee town in America with 6,000
If anybody
people
in California who maybe knows anything, who knows a vet or there's a local vet in California, because there's guaranteed to be at least one vet in California.
Oh, is there? That's a great assumption. That Viper.
I want you to just go ask them. You know, like, how many times a week does someone come in with a dog that's high and they say, "Oh, we were out on a walk and he ate something"? Like, I just want to know. Because if this happens in California as well, then we have an epidemic on our hands. We have dogs eating THC-laced shite, and it has to stop.
Listen,
everybody, climate change. This is the main problem right now.
Everybody knows a story of a dog finding some sort of weed stash. It's happened in everybody's friend circle. Do you know what I mean? We all grew up with somebody's dog found their dad's weed stash or something, and it was lying in the kitchen, no moving for 2.5 days. Do you know what I mean? There could be worse things happen to these dogs, but at the same time, they are in. Do you know what I mean? They shouldn't be fucking ingesting THC. It can be bad for them. Do you know what I mean? But I really don't buy that it's the fucking the I mean, it's marijuana isn't really a bad drug, right? I mean, you can be a productive stoner, right? I hope I'm an advocate for productive stoners, right? I had a bong before this podcast. Yes, I did, right? But it really annoys me how they're saying, if you're a stoner, you're one of these people who takes a shit in the woods. Like, no, we're just as human as you cunt. Do you know what I mean? Like, fucking hell, you're more likely to find a drunkard vomiting in the woods, and the dog is much more likely to eat vomit than shit. Do you know what I mean? So why are there dogs not turning up drunk in the vets for eating fucking drunk people's vomit? I just don't buy that end of the story. People are definitely so high and they've not put their edibles away and they don't want to admit, oh, I got too stoned last night and because my dog ate one of those Twinkies we made. And it's still in the bathroom. Do you know what I mean?
Wait, is it Scottish?
The other theory is, you know how you were saying there, Viper, about the bloodstream and how it...
but the thing is, if it went through the bloodstream, though, there's no way that if it did reach your poo, it would be in any way potent.
Yes, exactly.
Unless you were smoking and when I say trees, I mean literal evergreens of weed. I don't see
The theory is there. What happens if people are just leaving dog shit in the park, right? And then there's druggies going around putting edibles in the dog shit.
But why
imagine it was like the circle.
It's
It's like the circle of life. Human smokes bong, does shit in woods. Dog eats feces, gets stoned, does shit in woods. Dog eats. Do you know what I mean? And it's the circle of life. Make a YouTube video of it.
Or seagull eats weed, picks up chihuahua. Maybe that's what's going on.
And of course, Yalde has to comment on this, saying that Cod has urges to go shit outside with his dog, let's be honest.
Let's also be honest as well, right? Who's not taking the dog out for a walk?
Who didn't teach their dog how to do a shite by going, this is how you do it, boy. Look. The neighbours are like, oi! You're like, shut it, Eries, tell her.
Do you think people will start getting high? These you know how kids find new ways of getting high all the time, whether it's, putting vodka in their eyeball or something, right? What if the new one, right, is eating an edible and then going up to their mates and just farting in their mouth?
What?
It brings a whole new term to the word blowback.
What you say, Matty?
I was originally going to comment on the story until you explained it better about you can use human feces to get high. Because there was kids in African countries, in Ethiopia and stuff like that used to bury their shit for 2 days in a plastic bottle. And then they would unbury it about 2 days later and light the bottom of it and inhale the fumes, and they got high as fuck.
So there's a precedent being set for that if the feces is mature enough, it can be
you
potent.
You just gave Truss an idea. He's gonna be like,
no ideas. Just lends a bit of credence to the feces in the wood. That's all. But
I'm still just like, what the fuck?
It's just
Yeah.
such a weird story, isn't it? It's just such a fucking.
I'm gonna
weird
be
story.
honest. I agree with the whole. I think someone's put this on Facebook and like it's just gone. Like I'm agreeing with that. Like it's.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
believe
more
for
like
one
it's
second
spread
there's
through
enough-
spread through
Yeah.
word of mouth through the town really quickly. Like, oh, did you hear Jimmy's brother's best pal fucking got his dog high and he took it to the vets and he told it ate shite up the woods and they totally bought it. Do you know what I mean?
So I'm just reading on the story, and it says that the dogs
Captain
will
Awesome just subscribed. Thank you for the subscription, Captain Awesome, man. Welcome back, dude.
Cheers.
But sorry, Scottish, continue.
No, it's fine. So I was reading through this. So the dogs will receive an IV fluid treatment or also be given a sedative.
Well,
So in other words, they're going to pump fluids into them
Yeah.
and then make them shit.
Yes, basically.
it's the best way to get shit out your system, but isn't it? Let's be honest.
Matty just looks more and more confused as longer we go.
Yeah, no. So hang on. So because these dogs are high, they're like we're gonna sort it out by getting them high. We're gonna give them sedative. It's like
Well,
fuck.
that's how some things work, you know. If you set a bigger fire next to a smaller fire,
Yeah.
the smaller fire goes out. Granted, the bigger fire gets bigger, but the smaller fire, you know.
It's like, right, you've smoked weed, so we're gonna get you opioids, and that'll fix your problem. You know what I mean? Like,
At least you can't
Pardon
move when you're
me.
high, you know, you can't go hurt yourself. Do you know what I mean?
that's true.
It's like, oh, pardon me, Mr. Trussler. It appears that your dog Thunder might be a bit high from eating some shite, so we're going to give it some grade A heroin.
Like,
And just like, what?
right, I've read on further now. So it says, obviously, we encourage people to follow the leave no trace principles in the Black Country and use established facilities in the front country, said Price. Cole couldn't agree more with that golden rule and consequently. Jesus
Consequently.
Christ. Yep, that's the one. Thank you. The sightings of human feces seem to have left her in shock. It was very scary, she said.
Wait, so they
"I
actually went to the woods and like looked and went, oh shit, there is actually a shit ton of shite about here. Maybe
then
because it's a dog walking path.
This is the statement that throws me off. I want people to pick up their poop.
Why does that throw you
Aye,
off?
like-
I pick Thunder
Because-
shite up
Yeah,
Aye,
what
but I mean, if
I
it's
think
human-
if
with
I
my
have to
bare
pick my dog
horns.
up- Aye.
That's a good gene, pal.
Puts in a bottle for 2 days and likes it afterwards and gets fucking high off the fumes like this.
Aye, but I mean, in human feces, why would
Yeah.
Like, don't shit in the park in the first place?
There's
That's what
no
toilets are
human
for.
shites in the park. There's no
Right,
human shites.
I'm going to be honest, right? As an avid camper,
We just
right?
gotta say that.
As an avid camper, if you're camping, when you need to poo, you need to poo. But there is rules. You A, dig a hole. You B, you bury the shit. And you C, you wipe and wipe and wipe.
There's also a D. You do it on your hand and yeet.
If it's solid enough, you play sports. Have you ever done one so solid you actually be able to skim it over the water? Like,
Ding, 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 ding.
Wait.
Makes the plop noise each time.
On the topics of drugs, I'm going to be completely honest with you on this podcast. I mean, I was in the woods a couple of months ago on some acid, and I took a shit in the woods, and there's absolutely no way that I was going to spend the time bullying a hole for it. I think that would have been the weirdest trip in my
wait,
entire
in other
life.
words, so there's
Sat there tripping, trying to cut this hole open and scoop my shit in it and bully it back down again.
so somewhere in the woods near in Scotland, there is an LSD ridden poo.
Psychedelic shit, yeah. Waiting to be bullied.
Was that any chance
We've
at that
spent 20
fucking
minutes talking
psychedelic
about-
forest party that was in the?
No, oh, I wish I was at that. Nah, it was actually it was at Deckman. The the really famous place where the guy got abducted by aliens and stuff. That guy.
What,
I've heard of that,
ribbon
yeah.
that was painted and stuff.
Yeah, but literally like there, like not like in that very specific spot of the wood. I was at where he got abducted. So
What was the fucking circle for the laser, like the beam me up Scotty beam? Was it still like in the grass? Was it still there?
Nah,
There was just one
it's-
THC riddled shit in there.
yeah.
Maybe
Nah,
that's what it is. Maybe like maybe. Actually, hold on. I wonder if there's like a plane that like it's made specifically for people to get high on. Because what could have totally happened, right, is like.
Are
everyone
you
got
trying to
so
say
fucking-
there's an aeroplane that people get high on and it fucking does a bombing run there like this trail, man? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
but they do it specifically over Aspen, Colorado, because there's only 6,000 people that live there, and nobody's gonna notice. Like, it's like if someone done a fucking bombing run in
It's
West
fucking
Calder, nobody's
radioactive
gonna
waste,
notice 'cause it's fucking
apparently.
West Calder. Like, yeah.
The second this finishes, you need to patent that idea because that is a genius idea.
Yeah.
I want to get high on a
So-
plane, definitely.
So, in the first 20 minutes of this podcast, we have founded that I will patent the idea of a plane where you literally get high, and B, me and Matty will be going into the woods. I'll be pumping Matty full of edibles, and I'm going to make him shit in the forest and just wait for a dog to come along to see what happens.
You know what?
Yes.
You know what? I'll come help you film that just to see.
I'll come help you
You know
film
what?
that.
Actually, no, screw that. We're going to pump Liam full of fucking.
Right, please, someone's going to be walking through that woods, and there's going to be about 5 people with giant camcorders and big lights everywhere and stuff. And there's going to be a guy in front of it just taking a shit in the woods. Like, have you got the angle right? Eating edibles and taking a shit. Like,
You just sit. You're just sitting there, just like this, like just. Right. Evening.
It's going to be that. Have any of you watched Paul the movie?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's going to be that scene that like he's gone onto the spaceship, but we're just filming something on drugs.
Just at the end of it, Evolve.
That sounds like a good YouTube series though. Filming folk on drugs. That would get the hits, man.
Do you know there was something like that? Denmark. I think it was Denmark.
oh, drugs labs.
Yeah, they
So
commissioned
good.
it.
Yeah.
Because was it? Is it Denmark? Is it all drugs
It's
illegal? in Denmark?
it's Holland. It's us guys. It was the Netherlands.
Is it all drugs illegal there?
No, not really. It's weird. It depends on where you are and stuff. They're not legal, but if the government like sanctioned that YouTube channel.
Yeah,
And
it was
the
pretty
best.
cool.
The best thing about that channel is that the drugs they're taking are made in government labs, like by the government. So that's class A shit as well. Like that's
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, like for a lowdown of what Drugs Labs was, if you guys didn't know, it was a government sanctioned YouTube channel where they knew young people were going to be taking drugs. They knew So what they done is they made a series where these guys would explain what the drugs were chemically. They'd have a board and it'd show you the chemical compounds. They'll tell you exactly what's in
I
it.
like reaction
what
what
should
it does
be
in
in
the
it.
brain and stuff like that.
Yeah, and then they take it and they video like the guy on it, and they're like, "So what'd you feel?" And like, if he was on weed, he was like, I'm pretty chill, you know." And and it was like, okay, if you're going to take this drug, here is the safe way to take it. So with marijuana, you can smoke it as it is, or you can smoke it with tobacco. However, if you smoke it that, you won't have to deal with tobacco and everything, blah 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 blah. If you're going to take ecstasy, they can take it in pill form, like the average safe dosage, but keep in mind if it's your first time, blah, blah, blah. Basically, like, if you're going to do it safe, and if something goes wrong, dial an ambulance. Like,
It's definitely the message that the fucking drugs are bad message needs to disappear. Everybody knows drugs have an effect on people, and it needs to be that message. If you're going
like
to do it
shellfish.
responsibly. There is some drugs that you should never touch, and we all know them. Heroin, stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Meth, shit, orals, crystal stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Fuck paracetamol.
But like,
that's a mad thing.
there's a lot of recreational drugs. Do you know what I mean? That when we were teenagers, you were like, I'm not going out if I can't get some of them. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not going to be good.
This might be something that was interesting. I done this like 2 years ago. I'd never do this now. It was a really stupid thing at the time. But there's a video I done like 2 years ago where I took Ash and went to a My Little Pony convention. And that was one of the best. That was one of the best things I've ever done in my life. There's all these humans walking around dressed like ponies and shit, and like everyone's horns were moving and stuff. And yeah,
We're going to do a sequel where he does it at a furry convention, and we're going to actually put him in a furry suit halfway through.
we were going to do that. There's Scotland's biggest furry convention is in my town, and I've always wanted to go do it something at it, go like film a video about going there, but. Yeah.
Yeah, it's furry convention. I think that's where we should go next.
I mean,
IndiScots goes to the furry convention.
IndiScots gets hairy.
I
What
mean,
was that?
That was a
Oh, why
fart.
not?
That was a fart. Who was it?
That was a fart, but I don't know who it was.
Wait, is it like this?
I
wait,
think it was Liam.
It
Was
might
it
be.
leather
Was it me?
It might be the leather couch. Is it?
Oh, it's a leather couch. I thought it was going to be a
Oh,
fart. I thought we just got something. Clip it. Fucking clip it.
Clip
Right.
it. Clip that fart.
Even some doctor stuff, like the prescriptions doctors give you, can take an effect. Because I know I was taking like
Well, I hope so.
strong paracetamol, but it was like for my headaches, so it would help me sleep.
What, cocodamol or something, or codeine?
It was naproxen.
Nah.
See, the worst
And-
trip I've ever had was a prescribed drug for a doctor. It was called Tramadol. Never,
Oh.
ever take Tramadol. Trammies are fucking. Oh man, they're just
When
so
I
bad.
was, when I
So
was,
bad.
I think I was 14. I was at a swing park, and you know, you're 14, you're
Mm.
being a dick, you're snotty mates. I tried to do a backflip off a swing, and I over rotated and I landed, and the way I landed on something that I was lucky that it didn't break my back, but I got a shooting pain at my back, and I was so scared to move in case I did break my back, and I was in a lot of pain. So I ended up just bruising the bone or something, but I was in a lot of pain. And when the ambulance arrived, they gave me morphine. And
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
It's the, no,
Aye,
morphine's
morphine's
the best.
some hit by the way, ain't it, man? It is the
I
half.
was like,
I broke my
What?
leg. I literally broke my leg. I was looking at my leg. It was in two pieces. My ankle was facing like the wrong way, man. And the fucking doctor like literally administered morphine, and I woke up in the hospital 2 days later feeling like $1,000,000 like that. This is great, man.
I woke up with my balls covered in blood on morphine and was like, "Oh, that's cool," and I was laughing at my testicles. So I was twisting my testicles, so they gave me morphine, and I was just looking at these mangled balls and stitches.
Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah.
right, I think we need to move on, because if we don't move off topic of drugs, we will talk about hide dogs all night.
Well, just yeah.
And, yeah.
Aye.
So,
Mhm.
can we?
Will we-
I know.
Will we move on to talking about China?
Yes, I'm gonna be the mediator on this one. You know, keep it neutral. You know. Mhm.
I mean, if we're going to talk about China, we could talk about drugs still, because you know.
Well, we're going to talk about China and
don't
like
they talk about like in China?
specifically determine China's gaming laws are causing like a moral argument for game developers. Should they adhere to the rules and enforce an oppressive regime, which is obviously happening in China? Do you know what I mean? The amount of stuff that is getting banned and they've not got access to if it goes against the Communist Party and stuff like that. Or should they not sell games in China? No, to a capitalist company.
A capitalist cunt.
Well, yes, but
I agree with you there, Cod. A capitalist.
but in a
cunt.
capitalist country or a capitalist company, sorry, they're saying to them, don't sell games in China. It doesn't really sound like a good idea. So, like, despite being the largest market for PC games in the world, China's PC gaming scene is also the most heavily censored and regulated. Not only do game developers have to navigate a complicated bureaucracy to get approval for release of games, they also have to ensure the games adhere to aggressive rules against violence and gore, spiritualism and potential messaging that isn't aligned with the Chinese communist values. Amidst a complete restructuring of China's video game regulations is growing pressure on video game companies like Tencent to develop game systems that curb video game addiction by imposing restrictions on how often underage users can play games. But against a wilder context of sociopolitics is the question of to what extent the companies adhering to these government-led restrictions on playtime are strengthening an authoritarian, yes, authoritarian regime.
There
I
we
got
go.
there
We
in
got
the
there.
end. So like the real thing behind this article is the Chinese government are trying to bring in a new law that people are only allowed to play. They're only allowed to play for a certain amount of time. Now, we don't know how long that's going to be, but what do you think about that? Should game companies adhere to that? Should they make their games less good that the Chinese don't want to play them? Because we'll get those games too. Do you know what I mean? So what do you think about that?
I think it's shit, basically.
Like,
Come on, I mean, what people do in their own homes, they can do in their own homes. Come on, I mean.
But that's their Western view. Do you know what I mean? There's so many people in China that the Chinese government ain't going to let that happen. They ain't going to let
in
free
mind, like,
free
the
thought.
way the way that communism effectively makes you think is as much as you own things, everybody owns things,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like it's a very, like, hence what, like, the com in communism stands for community.
Do you need to? I need to take him out for a pee. I'll be back.
Yeah. And the way that the communism works is everyone works together for the greater good, basically. Now, the one thing that communism doesn't take account into is human greed, and that's a lot of the reason why sometimes communism, well, a lot of times why communism doesn't work. It's very, very, very rare cases that it works. Like, if you want to talk about that, you can look at Cuba, but it's the reason it doesn't work, and it still doesn't work. But I don't know, it's really hard to talk because there's a lot going on in China currently as well. You've got all the riots and protests happening. You've got stuff between Hong Kong and mainland China as well. There's a lot going on, and it's kind of hard to, like, for me personally, it's kind of hard to comment on something that we don't know much about. We don't know, we don't experience it because we live in a capitalistic socialistic society, and it is hard to comment on it.
Well,
yeah, go Matty.
The thing with China is it's not just the communism, the totalitarians, and they're very state-driven. That's for the state, by the state. So you were saying everyone owns your stuff. Well, in China, it's more the state owns your stuff. And it's really Orwellian 1984 style.
Yeah, it's a really weird version of communism they have. It's still communism at the base roots, but
it's a one-state party.
Weird. Yeah, it's a one-state party.
They're 100% totalitarians, and they're very an authoritarian, as they said. And so, when it comes to I think, again, being capitalist, should companies sell their games to them morally? Perhaps not, but again, maybe leave it up to the company and allow the consumers to choose what companies they want to buy from. And then if you think that the company shouldn't be selling their games to China, then don't buy from that company. Like Bethesda, for example, Bethesda fuck over their fans quite a lot, and so people have stopped buying Bethesda games pretty much. I mean, Bethesda's stocks are going down, their game sales are going down. If you don't agree with the morality of a company, like a lot of people always complain about child labour, but they still buy their codes from Primark. So stop shopping at Primark then. I'd say that's probably the best way of going to combat this scenario specifically with the gaming industry.
I guess it's kind of hard as well because everyone, like, it's the same with, like, countries like, Dubai and stuff. We only see one side of the coin.
Yeah.
Like, it was the same in Brazil for a long time. So we only saw the touristy part of fucking Brazil. We didn't see the slums. We didn't see the
India.
In India as well. We saw the most parts. We didn't see the slums. We didn't see all of that. And it was only after we started sending film crews in that we actually saw stuff. And it's a lot harder to actually get a film crew into China. And again, it's really hard because me personally, like, I know, like, we joke a lot about like, about my communistic views, but it's because some people are confused between communism and socialism. But it's hard when you live with, like, views like myself of socialism. I can't really put myself in, like, it's just my problem. I can't put myself in the shoes of someone who believes in ideally capitalistic views. Neither can I put my boots into the shoes of someone who entirely communistic views. It's and I think generally the real people we need to ask on this subject are the people of China.
Yeah, it's the only people that have got a real say on it, isn't it? It really is. But at the same time, I don't know.
Matty made a good point as well where you were away, COD, is that if you don't agree with what a company is doing, you don't have to go to the company.
Well, yes. 100%, aye. But, like, I don't think these companies should adhere to these new laws. Do you know what I mean? I think, like, they should say, like, no, we're going to make the games we want to make. If it's up to you whether you want to accept them in your country. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Because, like, once the Chinese people realise that they're missing out on things, that's the number one thing that motivates human beings, by the way, the fear of missing out.
Yeah,
so, like, the more they miss out on, the more chance they've got of having a peaceful revolution, hopefully, but we like that just brings into like.
Well, you can
They've
go
tried
on the
that a
news
few
and see what's
times.
going on right now in China, and this is just over their own like stuff between Hong Kong
Yeah.
and mainland China, you know. So talking about something like, I'm not saying I don't think we should be talking about it. It's more.
But my more point
I
is
don't know
like
what
these
we say
game
about it.
companies shouldn't be getting involved in the politics. They shouldn't
Oh
be
yeah,
adhering to
like,
inside.
this isn't
Like,
the.
that's no their fight. It's no. Do you know what I mean? They should just go. No, we're going to make the games we want to make. That's your problem, and just fucking wash their hands of it, man. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Suppressing art is always the first step that a dictator takes as well. That's what they always
Yeah.
say about
Yes.
communist Russia, or like, well, like in exact China, like China are doing like now. It's what Hitler done. Any especially comedy, but anything really, art's always attacked because it's propaganda.
It's expressive.
I don't want to make any modernistic, society, not societies, comparisons, but just the word fake news,
Well, I think we said Dankula, but fair enough.
Hey,
Oh,
Daniel,
Dankula as
man.
well,
Cheers for the host
Yeah.
there, dude.
Hi, Dankula, if you see this. Hiya, how you doing? Here's a message, okay?
Collab. Bring me up.
Here we go.
But aye, we'll move on to one of our other subjects as well. Have you seen that PUBG's getting a story? It's actually like, what do you think about Battle Royale's getting a story? They don't really need it, but
Fortnite originally started off as a story game.
Yeah, it's still got one.
but
Does it?
Yeah.
Th-
I thought they closed it down.
there's a video and all that, so I'll bring a video up and we'll check the video out, right? Cheeky video in that for it. PUBG story.
When I was a boy, I watched my world explode.
So is this getting released in China?
It's based in Russia, wasn't it?
So far, it's just there's no really been much story conveyed.
I thought I lost everything in that fiery nightmare. But what I found in the rubble of my childhood awakened me. I was the first lone survivor of Erengel. But I would not be the last. The island showed a scared boy that he could be a survivor. That's what I want for you. To meet your true self. Will you embrace who you're meant to be? Or is this all you are? Will you find a person strong enough to conquer their fear? Or will you die because you were too weak to understand it? Yes, my friend. Everyone is searching for themselves. That search ends here. The place I once called home. Welcome to my battlegrounds.
Alright.
Okay, that's kind of cool, actually. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's quite cool. Like, is it a case of like the guy who survived, had enough money, bought the island, and now makes like a Hunger Games type thing?
That's what I was thinking there as well. That's totally what it looks like to me. Totally what it looks like. Like he's like, I had to grow up tough and fucking, do you know what I mean? So I'm gonna find people. I don't know. It's like it seems very much like the Hunger Games, or what was that other movie with Vinnie Jones and fucking Stone Cold? It was that one. The Contender or something. The two of them were on. You never seen that? It's a quality movie. It's pretty much the Hunger Games. I'm sure it was before the Hunger Games as well.
If I'm going to make predictions, what I think it's going to be is I don't think it's going to be a story mode in terms of what we think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a story mode that you can just discover whilst playing a battle royale. So what I think it's going to be is you might need to win in order to progress in the story. So maybe it'll be a case of because you got all the cameras there, right? He had the cameras, he was looking. So maybe he's like trying to make an army because at the start it was an army that destroyed these his village, and him, and caused him that.
So I think it's
trauma
like
that
a
would
sort of revenge story thing.
Yeah, so maybe it's a case of like he's building an army, and then eventually he builds the army. You go and fight against these troops, and then maybe you find that you're
Seems a
fighting
very
the wrong
stupid
side or
way to
something.
build an army, but didn't it? I'm going to recruit. Out of everybody I recruit, 1 out of 100 survives. Yes.
Well, that's how the,
Do you know what I mean? Like, no, mate,
well,
that's not a way to build an
how the Space
army.
Marines do it. That's how the Space Marines do it.
Aye, but the Space Marines have got fucking galaxies worth of people that they can enslave with no moral question asked. This cunt's got a farm in fucking Texas or some shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's no comparable.
Do you know what I think it is?
Right, no. Imagine you saying to your
genetically
Ma, I'm going to go
modified
fucking
seagulls.
audition for Player Unknown Battlegrounds Army. I'm going to go do that. No, only 1 out of 100 people survive. You're not going to survive. But Mum, I'm a good soldier. So, he's better. Do you know what I mean? It's like fucking the chances of you coming out surviving, just no. Wouldn't happen in today's military, and it's obviously today's military he's trying to build. So, no, I don't like it. If that's
It'll
the
be interesting.
storyline.
Like, I think it will. I think it will sit around the battle royale. Like, I think it will be a case. At least you'll be like a guy, maybe fighting against NPCs in a battle royale.
Madcap says maybe he's recruiting terrorist cells, not an army. But that seems like a great way to combat terrorist cells, don't it? I'm recruiting an army to go against the big bad people. Come and join my army where 99 out of 100 people will die. I think that's probably more efficient at killing terrorist cells than fucking the American army's ever been. Do you know what I mean? If that would fucking get into play. So no,
If this
I
is the
don't think
case,
it's
then
terrorist
Shroud,
cells.
Shroud is gonna be one hell of a commander.
But I like Game 7 stories. I'm all for it, but I don't think battle royales really suit it. Do you know what I mean? I don't think they suit a story mode. They're just a multiplayer game. Just
I guess we can wait and see.
like see the
But
amount.
keep in mind, like,
Think of the amount of
there's
effort,
some-
the effort and money they've put into that story when they could actually just made their game better with that same money and effort. Do you know what I mean?
I think that especially with DayZ just dying at this point, I think DayZ's pretty much in the dump now. People are craving the open world experience of that kind of game, like the DayZ styled looting kind of system game, but more up to date that actually works. I think really instead of doing a story mode, they could have just done a free mode where instead of having all the restrictions of the time and the circle, they could have actually just had the DayZ styled open world thing. I think that would have been a lot better than a story mode.
Aye, rather than fucking being
thought,
confined all the time. You had to just go find the people. Do you know what I mean? Like somebody could just sit and build a base somewhere, build a castle, and that game turns into basically a siege game. Do you know what I mean? Like, aye.
Yeah,
I like the idea of that.
There was what game? There was an airsoft game that I heard about that was going on, and it was planned over a week, and they like said like 1,000 acres of land with like 400 players.
This was
goes, like,
Eddie and
last
Andy that were Eddie and Andy were talking about this. The guys we were volunteering with.
Oh yeah, they were,
Resonate.
and
It
they
was
said
those two.
you'd literally track guys for days, and then you'd fight for like 40 seconds.
Mm-hmm. They
And
were also
like,
talking
that's-
about we were talking to a paintballing group when we were at Resonate, and they say they do like a battle royale sort of thing. They put all the paintballing guns out in like different places round about the place, and then they just go, and cunts are just running to the guns, man. Cunts are cutting about akimbo paintballs. That does sound quite good. A battle royale in real life at a paintball range does sound really good. But
There was a giant YouTube one sponsored by PUBG last month. I think 100 YouTubers all got on a line, and there was like guns, airsoft guns. I like the map and stuff.
I watched the Mini Lads video, and he made so many Vietnam jokes, it was unreal. It's like fucking Vietnam out here.
Did you see that the Witcher, the creator of the Witcher, the showrunner of the Witcher, sorry, Lauren Hissrich, I think her name is, says that they'll only be adapting the books. They're not adapting the games whatsoever. So that really can remember a couple of months ago we were talking about how the writer of the Witcher books was raging that he didn't get enough money off his CD Projekt Red. Remember he was talking about how he got a bad deal and all that in hindsight. I really think it's because Netflix have gave him a good deal. Do you know what I mean? Like a much better deal, and they're not adapting the games, it's the books. And he's like, fuck, I could have got way more money off of fucking CD Projekt Red. But see, at the same time, CD Projekt Red is what made The Witcher famous. So without them, like The Witcher was really famous already in Poland and stuff like that in Eastern Europe, but the games are what brought The Witcher to the wider world. So I really don't think like that guy's really got a claim to that. Do you know what I mean? Like he shouldn't have got a better deal off his CD Projekt Red. He got millions off his CD Projekt Red. Do you know what I mean?
It was his own fault. Like it was, he said, "Oh, I just gave you this amount of money," because he didn't believe in it. When he really, if there's one thing that George Lucas has taught us is ask for royalties. Like, if there's one thing that we can learn off of that, Jar Jar Binks making bastard, it's get royalties. I guess it's a lot easier to adapt a book than it is to adapt a game.
But I'm really glad they're not touching the games, because the games are playable. You can get the story from the games. Do you know what I mean? And like me, I don't really like reading. I've got a lazy eye. I get migraines a lot when I read a lot, right? And I'm not really that good at it. But so see, like when they're like see a TV series of books, that's why I'll never read Game of Thrones. Do you know what I mean? Fair enough, I didn't like the ending in that, but I'll never read the books. Do you know what I mean? So when they do TV series and stuff, I'm like, yes, accessible to me. That's the way I see it. So do you know what I mean? That's for people like me. They're getting access to that new part of The Witcher that they would never get access to. People that don't read books, there is quite a lot of them, believe it or not.
Did you guys play the Witcher?
I played the third one.
That's what I played. I played the third one as well. I have the first and the second one, but I've just not played them yet. The first one you can only play with keyboard and mouse, and that's the main reason I've not played them, because I want to play the first and then the second. I don't want to play the third, which I've played already a few times, then play the second and then play the first. That's just completely fucked up. Do you know what I mean? So, aye, that's the one problem with the Witcher 1 for me, is it's only keyboard and mouse, and you cannot get a controller to work with it.
I think it's better as well doing the books, because most people don't know the books but know the games.
Yes, exactly.
So it's going to be new for most people that watch it, I think.
Yeah.
And it's got to give that, like, we only know Geralt is fucking, like, being, like, you first meet Geralt in the first game, he's like 160, and by the time fucking the Wild Hunt comes in about, he's like 260. So, like, if these are the books which are coming before the games, maybe you'll get to, like, you maybe get to see how Geralt maybe became a Witcher, maybe in, like, when he's talking to people, and maybe some flashbacks and stuff, do you know what I mean? Because they'll obviously have to give history on the bit of, like, there'll be the bit of story they're telling, but they'll need to give context. So they'll need to tell the story of what came before. So it's a huge chunk of Geralt's life that I don't know about. Do you know what I mean? So I'm really looking forward to it. Plus the trailer was out last week, and the trailer looks really good. If you guys have seen it, man, the trailer does look really good.
I'm not gonna lie, I was actually kind of like skeptical of Henry Cavill, more because every movie I've seen him in has been an absolute flop. You know, then again, I've only ever seen him in Superman, but if you know, it doesn't look too bad. Like,
do you know there's one massive downside to it being book only and not game? We ain't getting the unicorn scene. No unicorn, no fucking on a unicorn, and we'll not get the infamous scene for the games either, where Geralt's fucking in the bath.
Oh no, I think they'll definitely make reference to it. I think there will definitely be a scene where Geralt's in the bath.
Well, now that you say that, aye, you're right. There will be a scene with Geralt in the bath. It's dead easy to put Geralt in the bath, yes. But we'll not have the sexy unicorn scenes, man.
They might do you might mention this, like, I wonder if I'd like to have sex on a unicorn.
Aye, they'll mention it in passing. Aye, I think they might mention it in passing, but I don't think we'll get to see the scene. And it's a Netflix series, you know there's going to be sex in it. You know what I mean?
You got me. It'd be pretty funny if they just went, "Oh, a unicorn."
Enough.
Fucked on one of those. It's like, oh look, a piece of shit. My dog ate one and I got a high one.
Breaks the fourth wall and just looks at the camera and goes, "We couldn't get the horse to stay still. We tried to film it, right?" Oh man, but you can just imagine the horse like, what he's doing? What he's fucking doing? Why am I wearing this horn as a hat? What's going on here? it's a bit cruel on on a horse to ask it to do that. But other subjects, do you see dogs are getting high off eating who?
I will say, Thunder's looking quite calm right now. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
it's
you
'cause
took him out to the poo. Was it your poo you done? Or
I done a shite out the back and he was eating it. Aye, that's what we were doing. You see Blade's getting a reboot and Wesley Snipes approves.
Aye, but apparently Wesley Snipes was a dick on set.
Aye, that was my next point. Wesley Snipes was a dick on set. Apparently, in the last Blade movie, Wesley Snipes' stunt double is in the film more than he is, because they can get away with it, and Wesley was a pure lazy bastard. So I'm looking forward to a Blade reboot if that's the case. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, it would be better if the main actor didn't give a fuck about it in the old ones.
Do you
And
think
the
they'll put it
old
in, like, the
Blade
actual
movies are
MCU,
good.
or-
Do you know what I mean? The Blade movies are good. I like them.
We'll have Ryan Reynolds again. I want Ryan Reynolds again.
You'll probably see Ryan Reynolds in it, but I don't know for sure. But he's all about
Yeah,
the action
Deadpool
movie scene,
and
isn't he?
non-Deadpool films.
See, that's the problem with more actors, is that they're all mainly lazy shits.
But some of them aren't. There's a lot of, like, do you know what I mean? You can't just. Wesley Snipes is the only one I've ever heard, like, his peers call him a lazy bastard. That's the only one I've ever heard of.
Imagine having a reputation in Hollywood as being a
I know. But see, the thing about it is, what's Wesley Snipes ever done after Blade? Not really done much, ain't he, though?
Alexa,
So he's obviously that
what did Wesley
reputation has
Snipes
damaged
do
him.
after Blade?
I found. Film. Wikipedia. Failure to get a black.
Enough! What's she saying? We can't hear her.
That
Yes. No, shut up.
on.
It said that after he tried to get a Black Panther film made, but never happened.
So that's
Imagine Wesley Snipes as Black Panther. Imagine how shit that would be.
That would be.
I think the Black Panther casting was pretty good. Is it the Black Panther? What's that Panther movie Marvel made? Is that called Black Panther?
Black Panther.
Aye.
What's that Panther movie that Marvel made? That was Black Panther?
Aye, I wasn't sure. I've only seen it the once. Do you know what I mean? So
Matty, you might appreciate this as well, actually. I rewatched Age of Ultron last night.
Yeah.
And I never actually fully realised how much planning that the brothers had to do. Like there's literally throwaway lines in Ultron that when I watched it back I still went, wait, what? Like had on. Like the vibranium in Age of Ultron was stolen from Wakanda. Like
Oh yeah.
like he mentions like what's the guy that Andy Serkis plays in Black Panther? I completely forgot he was in Age of Ultron. He was the missile dealer in Africa where we first meet.
so he is.
And like they say that like, oh yeah, here's the thief that we found. He's got a little mark on the back of his neck. It's a branding. What is it? It's a African sigil in a language. Literally, like Bruce Banner doesn't know what he's like Wakandan, and then I think it's Tony goes Wakandan, and you're like, wait, you already established Wakanda, like what's going on? You've already know about Wakanda, and then like there's little things like the fact that Wanda and Quicksilver were Stryker experiments. The second they mentioned Stryker, my little X-Men balls got very wet. Like I was like, Stryker, Wolverine.
Sometimes he just geeks out, doesn't he? And you need to rein him in. It's like, Viper,
Oh,
calm down now.
Everything in college, there was at least something about Power Rangers or Spider-Man. But did you know, there was like an hour-long rant to Joe's about Spider-Man you done once, wasn't there?
Maybe.
Like, yeah, it's every day for him. Like, it just messed up.
It probably was Power Rangers as well.
Yeah.
You see, the loot box debate is reared its ugly wee head again as well.
What, they kind of decide what's gambling and what isn't gambling?
Well, the UK Gambling Commission has fucking leaned in again, and it's.
I'm pretty sure that actually, I'm actually pretty sure that like me and Matty had a lengthy conversation about this in college.
Probably.
Yeah, because I think when we first talked about this, I was telling people
But
that
it was this line here right at the top that makes me want to talk about it, right? Because loot box rewards cannot officially be monetized, they're exempt from the classification. No, like you can't go and sell your skin after you've fucking got your skin.
but people do anyway. Like there's Fortnite accounts for people who's like, oh look, it's got the Skull Trooper on it.
Yeah, it
Like,
can't
you know.
officially be monetized in Fortnite. That's what they're saying, because it can't officially be monetized. They're exempt for the classification. Do you know what I mean? So pretty much we're back in 2015 at the FIFA Ultimate Team coins debate again. Do you know what I mean? That get outlawed. Those fucking all those websites get shut down. So, and it get quite clearly it was fucking gambling. Do you know what I mean? So, like, how is
Like,
this
with
no under the
CS:GO
same
as well.
classification?
Yeah, like with CS:GO as well, the whole CS:GO Lotto thing. They've literally had knives that were worth like hundreds and thousands of pounds, and I think the reason why they were monetizable is because I think you could actually just send them to someone. Like I'm pretty sure if I was playing CS:GO and I got a knife, and someone
Yeah,
cool
you
gave you 400 quid for that skin, you could send it to someone. Whereas stuff like Fortnite and Overwatch, you can't do that. And I don't know, like I've said in the podcast before, I'm completely fine with loot boxes if it's just cosmetic and it doesn't affect your, ability in the game whatsoever if it's purely cosmetic. But
see, at the same time,
like,
they could be unlockable in the game. Why do they have to be behind paywalls? Do you know what I mean? If you need more money for your game, then charge more money off the bat. Do you know what I mean? Like, just
Well,
please.
I've always said that I adore Epic Games because I think they're the perfect company in terms of here's a game completely for free. The game's in no way different no matter how much money you pay. But if you really, really like the game and you want to support us and help us, you can buy some random cosmetic skins. And that's to me has always been like why I've always gave Epic Games an easier time than other companies because they're not trying to scam you. It's just for fun.
Yeah, and every time, like even with like Overwatch and Overwatch, it's never been a necessity. Like Overwatch, like, oh cool, we have these cool skins in the game, by the way. It's an incentive to play the game where you earn, like you get, because every time you level up in Overwatch, and like it doesn't like it's not like you reach level 100, it's 10 times harder to level up than your level 1. It's always the same throughout the game, and each level up you get a box, and there's even some game modes like, oh, if you win a match in this game mode, you get a loot box, and it's just like, and if you want to buy more loot boxes, you can buy more loot boxes. In my opinion, where the problem comes in is just because I used to do it. I used to buy a lot of loot boxes, right? Like I mean, like I'd get paid a month, and I'd give them at least £90 just buying loot boxes, and I sit there going,
That's
like,
madness, man. That's
I know.
madness.
It is that I used to like
Spend
I
well
used to
more
buy
money in a game that's free than you did. Do you know what I mean? That's my point. Do you know
Yeah,
what I mean? There's
but
no
it's
limit
like-
to the amount that you can spend on the game. Whereas if the company just says to you up front, yo, this is how much we need for the game. If we're going to bring out anything else like a DLC, I'm an advocate for DLCs. I really don't like the free game market. Do you know what I mean? Like, fair enough, there is games that only do cosmetic stuff, but there is games that do the freemium model. Do you know what I mean? Like, so, like, I think it's a slippery slope before Fortnite start adding a gun and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's...
before they go, all right, here's a gun that you can buy that will give you an upper hand.
Aye.
I think the second they do that, they're done.
They'll get so much shit. I don't think I see his point. I don't think Epic Games would do it because I respect them a lot as a company, but I get his point that they could, and it's definitely possible.
Aye. Like, everything else in life you pay up front. Do you know what I mean? Like, so...
Do you know, I'm gonna give a shout out to a game that me, Vanessa, Truss, and Yaldi have started playing, and it's called Light Seekers. Right? So Light Seekers was a card game that we got introduced at
Resonate.
There we go. And it's a physical card game, physical cards, Oh yeah, by the way, if anyone who knows me prior to the podcast and knew I played card games before, I full on relapsed. So but physical cards, but it's also like there's also a phone app game where in the game you can, if you want, you can buy booster packs in the game to get what they fucking call virtual card. I'm forgetting my words today. Virtual cards. But they have an option in the game where if you have physical cards, you can scan them in and you can use them in the game. So it's giving us like, okay, if you want to give us money, why don't you actually buy the real physical thing and then just scan your cards in? And that, in my opinion, works a bit better if you're going to do the whole, give us microtransactions, because card games were basically the original microtransaction.
Yeah.
In terms of like pay to win and stuff, like I don't know a game off the top of my head apart from ones that are brought out by EA that were pay to win. Like the whole Star Wars Battlefront thing that came out.
The old FIFA shit that came out. Do you know what I mean?
Matty, do you have something to say? Look, yeah, something to.
I was going to say kids' mobile games and a lot of kids tend to be quiet.
Yes.
So like, I'm like, like Simpsons Tapped Out. That was really bad for. And basically, in order to be good at the game, you needed the donuts. And not only did you need to pay for them, but obviously you got a certain amount of free donuts just to keep you playing. But the pop-ups were intentionally put up so that you would accidentally click and spend your donuts and stuff like that, and it was just set up in this way where it was just trying so hard to get you to pay for it.
I remember my mate's little brother was playing that Tapped Out game, and without even my mate knowing until he looked at his bank statement, his little brother had spent like £100 on his card on donuts.
Oh yeah, there's
like,
horror stories with it all the time of kids buying
it's unreal.
I'm pretty sure they took the piss out of it in an episode, like in an episode of The Simpsons. They took the piss out of it.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Did they really?
Like,
Fuck.
Yeah, like Maggie spent, I think it was like $4,000. Or Homer spent $4,000 on. Hold on, I'm going to type it in on YouTube and see if I can find it.
But it's not even just like that. The Simpsons game. It's like other games as well. That children are playing. Look at that story a couple of years back where there was a wee boy that spent like, what was it, like $1 million or something on their parents' credit card, and we're like,
what? Really? $1 million?
The news the news had it covered, and we're like, how did the parents not notice? Why even have your credit card payments saved to your phone if you're going to let the child play on it?
There's definitely a responsibility that parents have to start taking. None annoys me more than an article claiming that something needs to be banned because parents are too lazy to look after what their kids are doing online. That's one of my biggest irritations about these kind of articles.
Don't ban it just because parents are dropping the ball, man. Get the parents to pick the fucking ball back up. Do you know what I mean? Because if you encourage parents dropping the ball, just maybe them will do it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I agree with you there, man, 100%.
What I don't agree about is why they're leaving, their card details on their computer or whatever, so their children can go on and buy stuff.
Yeah, that seems to be like a bit of a fault on the parents there.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently even Angry Birds done it.
Yeah, that sounds like them, to be honest. Like, great game, but shoddy business practice.
Right, Thunder, move.
There was a woman who her daughter was going onto Roblox servers, and the characters were running up and doing sex stuff and all that in front of her, and she found her daughter seeing it happen in Roblox. Now, the thing about Roblox is that it's a privacy setting that's automatically set to on that stops you from seeing that kind of stuff, and you need a password to unlock it, to turn it off and stuff. So there's no excuse. Like the woman was obviously fucked around with the privacy settings, and then she's given her daughter this. She was like 4. She's given her like unrestricted access to this iPad, and she's seen that kind of thing. It's like, well, yeah, she obviously shouldn't be doing that. But...
Yeah, man, 100%, man. That's the fucking parents' fault. Yeah.
No, and the article said this is obviously proof that we need to start restricting video games. Like, no, it's proof that some people are shit parents. Like.
I can't find it. It's annoying. But the quote of the episode basically was, "I spent $1,000. Oh well, I'll just tell them my kids did it."
I remember that. Yeah.
It's because there might be some parents that they do that and then they go, "Oh shit," blame it on the kids so they can claim the money back. Aye.
Like, but it is like a I guess the whole like the whole waiting premise of it so you could either wait 2 hours to your building finishes, or you can buy these donuts that do it instantly. It's like a
Aye.
gratification. You get the gratification thing, and it plays on that whole like psychological. Hi, Thunder, you're looking my
I
ass.
know, he's just looking right at you. I've seen him.
He's like, which one of you done a poo? I want to get high.
See, the problem as well is like I don't save my like I live myself.
Mhm.
Oh, I think with Discord's just froze.
No, you're
No, I
alright.
can still hear you.
Ah, there we go. That's better. So like my mates moan at me because I don't save my like card info on my computer and stuff, and I'm like, well, fair enough.
I
live
really
myself,
shouldn't.
but
Like, I really should
you know-
save my card info on my computer.
exactly, because if hackers, it's not even just the fact that if hackers get into your PC, they get your card info. It's why would my mate want me to save my card info onto my computer? Like,
I
I'm
know,
gonna
man.
tell you
Just,
the
just,
worst-
you just
What's his
ask for bank
plan?
deets. You go, give you bank deets.
exactly, yeah.
There's a button on Amazon, and I hate it, and it's
Oh,
because I've
the-
got my fucking card info saved, and the button is called Buy Now, right?
Mhm.
You don't have to go through the fucking
Oh,
basket.
yeah,
just
buy now with
buy
one
now.
click. Yeah, buy now with one click. Yeah,
Oh, thing is, with me, right, and like, I wish Vanessa was here because she'd confirm this. I am a compulsive spender, right?
Mm.
The fact that I'm about to move to a different city, I'd have to pay rent and shit. I hope to God this fixes me, but I'm a compulsive spender. If you want proof, I play fucking card games. If you want to see it.
Well, it's not
Like-
just that though. It's like something you'll see, and you're like, you know what, I want it. I'm gonna need to
Yes.
save it, and then you're like, oh wait, payday's tomorrow. Let's just buy it tomorrow,
Oh,
and you
here's-
just
here's
go
a-
on and buy it.
Oh, here's a prime example, right? So, the card game that I was just shouting out, right? You can buy boxes of their booster packs, right? You get about 20 packs of boosters, and RRPs around 90 quid. So you get a lot cheaper than buying them like separately, right? And it's usually like for shops to buy them, and then they can sell them on at the normal price and make profit. But when on Amazon it says this one is down from £90, it is now £24, and the buy now button's right there.
Just just swipe it, and then you're
And
done.
that £24 could have been put in my car for fuel. Yeah, so I'm okay walking to work, but I've got cards.
Walk
Yeah.
towards,
Like-
walk to work with your cards. There you go. You're sorted, man.
Right. Yeah, I'll just walk to work. Like, okay, like I'm ready to work my 8-hour shift at a bar with some paper. Here we go.
It's true though. It's easy just to do. I know I've done it many times. You just
Bro, like
go on to look at something, and then you're actually coming off the website buying something.
the thing is, like, I genuinely think as well that, like, as a card game player, this should be an over 18s thing. Like, look at Magic the Gathering. Some of the cards you have a chance of pulling, like, are worth about £300-400, right? So you make your money back plus profit. If I'm correct, that's gambling, is it not?
Dude,
Yeah.
Pokemon, the shit. Max Mofo has some cards in his fucking room that are worth of like 5, 6, 7, 8 grand. Like that shit's.
It's mad.
But last,
isn't it?
Yeah.
but last time I checked, if I give you £5, and in exchange of £5, I have a chance of either equaling out the money I just made, losing money, or gaining money. That's gambling.
It's just like even when I go into the shop, I'm like, I just go in there to get like some milk or something. I'm like, oh, but I've got a few extra quid in that account. I'll just buy a couple of scratch cards while I'm here.
That's
Come
one
on,
thing I'm
let's
never
see if I
gonna do.
can get
I'm never gonna buy a scratch card. I don't think I'll ever get
There was one scratch card years ago, man, and like it was only in rotation for like a week and a half because it was so broke. They had they'd see how usually there's a very low chance of winning and a high chance of losing. They had actually put these cards out in the opposite, and they were battleship cards. And see the amount of money me and my wee brother won on battleship cards because we fucking figured it out in a couple of days. Oh, about these new ones? Fucking got a few of them, man. Fucking honestly, man, the first 6 cards we got, man, we'd fucking won like 400 quid on it. He just kept fucking winning, kept fucking winning. And then when in the shop one day like that, where's your battleship scratch cards? Oh, they took them out of rotation because they were flawed. They were more winners than losers. And I was like, ah, boo.
Oh well, I'll see you in my holiday in Corfu.
Mate, I was 19, man. I was 19, man. That weekend before where we won all those scratch cards. What a fucking weekend, man.
Yeah, it's
But
Aye.
pretty much that's all the time we've got time for tonight. We're going to be playing some Worms and that tonight. If you want to come and play some Worms, it's free on Steam tonight. It stops being free tomorrow. Hey, Scottish Space Mechanic, cheers for the 200 bits, dude. Like I say, we're going to play some Worms. It's free on Steam. People are welcome to join. We'll be back in a couple of minutes for that. But thank you very much to Absolute Scottish for joining us tonight. Cheers, dude.
bye-bye.
Thank you very much to GLP Matty. Very short notice you came here, Matty. Cheers for doing that, dude.
No problem, thanks very much.
SMviper, Viper Media, Viper, the tiny wee man that is above me. Thank you for joining, San.
A man that needs a free haircut.
But yes, thank you for watching, and we'll see you all in a couple of minutes for Worms. Bye, guys.
Bye.
And whenever I press that button for the outro, the stream's
Oh,
like, hold
wait,
on, I
hold
need
on.
to load it. I need to load it.
Wait.
There we go.
Yeah,
Build this network on Scots with soul. We'll build this network on Scots and soul. Build this network on
Thank
Scots
you. Well, I don't
with
even, it's
soul.
just not a name yet, it's just a channel, really. Like,
I
just-
know, I was going to shout out and I
Thank you.
Viper forgot to do a shout out for Matty, so what's the shout out for Matty? Viper, we're still live.
Hey,
Oh.
Oh, we're still alive. Shadow's about to eat.
if Matty does a podcast on his channel, GLP Matty on YouTube, he's got one up called his Film School Worth It with his friend Pigeon Master, and then you done an interview with Lucy Brown, I believe.
I don't
Yes.
have any links ready just now on Twitch because I didn't know about this, but I definitely will put the links in the YouTube description.
Thank you.
So if you're watching on
Viper
YouTube,
has.
they're there, and there's the link in the chat and Twitch as well. But aye, sorry, continue.
Yeah, there you go. He's also got a video about a guy eating his own cum. So there you go.
Yes.
It's a good
Guys
video,
eat
I
cum,
recommend it.
dogs eat shite. See you all next time. Bye bye. Build this network on Scots
Jesus.
with soul. Build this network.
Oh, by the way, see through the
Build this network on Scots with soul.
PUBG one? I was sitting there trying to talk to you, and I'm